I'm the Beauty Professor, and you can find my blog at beautyprofessor.net. Today, I'm excited to showcase a hotly requested makeup look on the beautiful Jessica right here. She's headed off to prom, and so I'm going to be doing a light, warm, bronzy makeup look that will translate just as well for an evening out as it would a day in the sun. So I hope you enjoy. All right, so first, Jessica has amazing skin to start with, so that makes my job really easy. I am going to prep it right now. She's already lightly moisturized this morning. It's been a few hours, so I'm going to use the Tatcha Pore Perfecting Water Gel, which is super lightweight, has a touch of luminosity, but it's weightless on the skin. I'm going to apply to her face like this. Just using an outward motion. The eyelids, a little bit underneath the orbital region, and then always bring down your moisturizer down to your neck. Next, we're going to use just one pump of the Armani Prima Day Long Skin Perfector for trouble zones. And this is not skin that's troubled that this targets, but rather areas where you want to make sure your makeup doesn't melt off. We're doing her makeup right now at like 12:30. She's going to be wearing that makeup for another 12 hours. So we want to make sure that it stays in place, and a good primer will do that for you. This one is ultra lightweight as well, and I'm just going to focus on the T-zone, the nose, and the chin area here where makeup tends to want to wear off over time. Through here, down the nose, across the cheeks, and she's set. So for foundation, as I've already mentioned, Jessica's skin does not need much. We just want to make sure she's completely evened, and actually a little bit of foundation on the skin will help for any subsequent makeup that's applied to adhere and stay for the rest of the day. It gives the makeup a nice base. Today we're going to be working with the Temp 2 Air, which is a great handheld airbrush makeup device. I've covered it in previous videos. I think I've even demonstrated it. And Jessica is warm beige, as am I. We share a similar skin tone in that regard. She's going to just get a very light application. This is going to be a perfect solution for her on a long evening out. Here we go. So I'm putting it on the first setting, and we'll just see what kind of coverage she gets there. You just pull the toggle back, and you'll want to close your eyes. And we're just going to bring this in circle motions around the face. You'll be watching the evening process. How does it feel, Jessica? Light like air. So I've essentially finished Jessica's face. It took about 30 seconds on the lightest setting with the warm beige pod. I'm just going to go on the light setting once again, back through and down her neck area to make sure we've got continuity. And once this formula sets on the skin, it doesn't budge. So it basically gives you a nice waterproof veil, it's sweat proof, and Jessica and I were just inspecting it in the mirror, and she was saying she couldn't even see it at all on her skin, and that's the benefit of such a fine mist. And her face is set. One thing I want to point out with regards to working with the Temp 2 Air is that for those who are used to seeing immediate effective foundation on the face, especially if you use like a beauty blender or something, you might be apt to over apply and kind of leave it in one space. You will end up with more foundation in the end than you need. It's always good to start with light layers and little circles, let it set, then take a look in the mirror. You'll find that you'll have applied a lot less and still achieved the same look that you're looking for, which is just really even, glowing skin. Next comes the cheeks, and I'm going to be just doing a very light bronze contour. We see so much hardcore contouring going on, but Jessica, like myself, is a natural makeup lover, so we're going with a very just softly defined warm cheek using bronzer only, no harsh contouring products. And then I'll be following with a pop of pink blush from Seurat Beauty, and then finishing with a highlight from Becca. So to start, I'm going to be working with the By Terry Sun Designer palette. This is the #1, the Tan and Flash Cruise, and I'm just going to be working with the tan side of this palette. I also use the #2, which has lighter shades across the board all the time. It's always in my purse. But I think this combination of bronzers will be a pretty first bronze base for her. So we're going to start with that. I'm using an angled contour brush from Cosette. If you can do this for me. There you go. And I'm just going to bring this bronze right through her cheek. You want to just focus on the hollows as they start right there and sweep upward. So I'm doing a light bronze. You can see that just a minimal amount of product was used to get an effect. Beautiful. And just work that in, blending it upwards. I'm also going to take a little bit of a mixture of the lighter shade with a touch of the brown and bring that across her jawbone for just additional definition, like this. And then I'll move to the other side. So before I go any further with the warmth, you can see we have a nice contoured base right here. And I'm using the word contour very liberally because it's not a true contour, it's just more of a warm sculpting. But before we do, I'm going to continue, I'm going to go ahead and just clean up any areas that we want to make sure make the canvas absolutely pristine. So I'm going to be working with Veil Illuminating Complexion Fix in light 2G, and this is a great just kind of spot concealer. I'm also going to bring a little bit in her under eye region and blend that out for continuity. So I'll be working with that right now. I've already put some on my hand, and I'm going to use a concealer brush to then apply from there. Even though this does have a brush, I like the precision and control of using a smaller brush. So I'm using the Cosette number 7 here, and I'm just going to take a touch of this and move it in here. So, for example, that's great. We're going to go on to finishing the cheeks. I'm going to be working now with the Physicians Formula Argan Wear Bronzer. It's not only beautiful in the package, but it has kind of just a light, neutral tan element, and it's got a tiny bit of radiance, but nothing overt. So I'm putting some on the brush, dusting a little bit off because we want to go ultra light. And then if you can go ahead and smile for me. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and just bring this through her cheek area, almost like you would a blush, but I will be focusing upward more like a bronzer as well. Nice. And it gives us a touch of radiance, and you can see a little more warmth going on in her cheeks. Just finished the bronzer on the cheeks. I also used a touch of the center shade of the Argan Wear bronzer, and it has kind of a slightly golden tan element. So I brought that down the center of her nose as a preliminary highlight. We will do a little more highlighting in a moment, but it's a great start. You can already see she just looks warm and glowy. Now we're going to move on to blush, and I'm working with this amazing trio of blushes from the Seurat beauty line. When you're looking for a gossamer veil of just natural pink flush that has a touch of luminosity, this is the way to go. This one in the center, it's Barba y Papa, and it is definitely my favorite. I use it all the time on my cheeks. Even if I'm not wearing other makeup, I'll just use a little bit on the apples of my cheeks to brighten things up. So I'm going to put some on my brush. She's going to smile again. And we're just going to bring that through like that. You can see it just gives a beautiful rosy glow, but it's like a baby pink rather than a deeper fuchsia, and a lot of blushes go dark on me. So I'm starting the same with her. I'm treating her skin like it's mine and going a lot lighter today, especially since she wanted a natural look. On to the eyes, and you can tell I'm only doing like one side of Jess's face on camera and then working my way around the other side because the video is fantastic. I'm excited to do it for you guys, but getting her face exactly right is more important to me, and so I need to get on that side, which makes filming impossible. So at least you're getting half of the experience here. I am going to first prep her eyes with the Armani Prima Eye and Lip Perfector. This is perennially in my makeup bag. It's great to prep the lips. It gives it some moisture and also serves as a priming base. And it does just as well on the eyelids. So I'm going to be working with the Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette 5 in shade number 4, which just has these gorgeous, warm, golden, burnished shades. I'm using the second one in to cover the eye, give it a veil of color. It will be really golden and luminous. And I'm just tapping that in. You can already see it's just so beautiful. And if you've watched other videos of mine, you know I'm a huge fan of just a single wash of color, at least to start. And because we have the luxury of time and we're getting her ready for a special event, I will be using some other products, but truthfully, we could pretty much stop right here and she could walk out the door and look amazing. So I just finished a single wash of color from the Natasha Denona palette on Jessica's eyes. You can see it has beautiful duochrome, kind of golden with rose undertone, and I'm almost apt to just stop right here. But because it's a special night, we're going to add a little bit more gold into the mix. Right now I'm working with a powder that is fairly new to me, but I tried it out on myself last week and just love the results. It's the Metals by Danessa Myricks. It's an independent beauty brand, and this is the shade Pharaoh. It's a super finely milled powder, golden as can be, and you actually need to activate it with the accompanying Bionic Gel Activator. So I'm going to put a little bit of the gel on her eyelids and then tap the gold in. Once it's activated, it creates basically an indelible powdery sheen. So because this is such a precise act, I decided I would get one eye finished before filming, and what I did is exactly this. You can see, if you close your eye for a second, we have the rose gold from Natasha Denona all the way almost up to the brow bone. And then I took the Pharaoh powder, I mixed it with the activating gel, and I ended up just using my ring finger to gently tap it into the eye. I was working with a brush first, but I feel like that was almost too much. This is so responsive to just a little finger touch. So we just tap that in like that. And I wanted this to be a gold that was diffused. No hard lines, no excessive blending, just like this pure liquid gold blending into the rose gold like we see right here. Just to sweep this outward, almost like a golden cat eye or winged eye, but we're not going to use a black liquid line as well. So we'll just use a little bit of this gold to blend that out. And because she has a beautiful kind of cat eye shape to begin with. So we just finished the gold. I pressed that into her lid just like so with my ring finger, and you can see this insanely luminous gold eye. This will last her the entire night. Now I'm just going to go ahead and use an angled brush for precision and sweep a little more of the rose gold Natasha Denona shadow along her lower lash line and just blend it out and diffuse it, please. Just like that. We're just creating a little bit of definition there. Going now with some Tom Ford black eyeliner in the waterline area just to have her eyes pop even more. But otherwise we're going to keep the darker colors at a minimum, outside of mascara of course. So we've basically finished her eye. I'm going to use a little bit more of the Natasha Denona palette. I'm taking this kind of champagne shade, I'm mixing it with a little bit of the white, and I'm going to take this up to her brow bone just for a diffused kind of glow. It's very subtle. It's not meant to impart a lot of color, but it will give her just a nice wave of color all the way to the top. For brows, Jessica has great natural brows. We were just talking about the fact that we both like to basically leave our brows alone. And while I definitely don't engage in any kind of plucking or over shaping, I do like to use a clear brow gel that will keep things in place. Because she has already great shape, I'm just going to go ahead and use two products very lightly. The first is the Giorgio Armani High Precision Brow Pencil, and this is in the color number 1, which is like a very ash brown. Now this is very lightly, we're going to apply very lightly only in areas at the top here of the arch to define the arch, but very lightly. This is a very thin, precise pencil, and I'm going to use like the most whisper of strokes to essentially just build the brow slightly. And that's really it, like that minimal. Then I'm using the Seurat brow pomade, and this is always in my makeup bag as well. You have this great comb here and a formula that just brushes the brows upward, giving them that great kind of Brooke Shields look, and it holds them in place. It does not deposit any color because it is clear, and it dries clear. So right now you can see that, you can see the formula has kind of a opaque white tone, and then it dries to a perfectly clear finish. And her brows are finished. They look amazing. I've just told her she needs the Seurat product in her life immediately because she'll never need to do anything else to her brows, but this just gives such a beautiful, fresh, modern look, and it takes like 4 seconds. High definition eyeliner in black along her waterline to just help have her beautiful bright blue eyes pop even more with the gold. So I'm going to be bringing it along her waterline like this. Alright, so you can see Jess's eyes are on the cusp of completion. I'm going to be finishing them off with this Maybelline Colossal Spider Effect Volume Express Mascara. That's a super long moniker, but it's a great mascara. I've been playing around with it a lot myself. I work with different mascara formulas all the time. So what's interesting about this mascara is that this brush, it kind of looks like the face of an alligator. That's just my first impression. Like there's the snout and the mouth, there's the other. But what's great is that it's shaped for your lashes. So you've got this skinny part that goes right into the interior of the lashes, and the larger part which can work on lengthening and fanning out the outer lashes. The formula itself is super black, very pigmented, and adds a great sense of volume and also length. So I'm going to work on putting that on. You'll see the final effect in a moment. Jessica's eyes are finished, and this is after 2 coats of the Spider Effect mascara. Her lashes do not look spidery, so the name could be a bit misleading, but they are so much longer, darker, more fluttery. They just look amazing. We both agreed we didn't want her to wear false lashes, which are so common, if we could help it, because we're going for this natural look. And she was telling me that she feels like her eyelashes are kind of thin on their own, but they look so lush. So that's a testament to this mascara, which is currently available, but her eyes are finished. We're going to go on to highlighter right now, and I'm working with the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Champagne Pop. I have a whole review on this, a recent review on my blog. I'm using a fluffy Cosette brush #1. And you know, sometimes you can use a fan brush or a smaller brush for highlighter, but I'm going to use a fluffy one to kind of diffuse the glow across her face. This shade is a warm kind of pinky peach gold, so it stays in the family of tones that we're going for, which is this kind of honey gold vibe. And I'm sweeping it across her upper cheekbones all the way up to her temples. And I'm going to bring a little bit into the forehead area. This isn't always a common place for highlighter, but I think it's nice because highlighter should, in my opinion, be anywhere where the sun would touch your face so it captures the light. So we'll put a touch right in there, and then a little bit more down the bridge of her nose. We're not doing a hard highlight. A soft one is just way prettier. So we added the highlighter in the areas I just discussed, and then I took a Q-tip to put a touch more of the highlighter along her already well-defined Cupid's bow area. This just gives her lips this lovely pout. We're not going to overline with another pencil. We'll jump straight to lip color next. For lips, I pulled some shades for Jess that I thought would be great with the golden eye and would keep things natural, but also shades she could comfortably reapply throughout the night without having to be high maintenance about it. This first one is the Be My Baby shade from Topshop. It's a creamy kind of rosy nude red. It's a muted red. She is wearing red shoes, so this could be a nice way to go if we don't want to do an overt red. Then we have the Sigma Liquid Lip Vex, and this is in the shade Hint, which is a really interesting kind of gray purple, which is very on trend right now. It could work well. We're going to try that and see what we think. And then finally, I like the combination of the Lipstick Queen Vesuvius Liquid Lipstick, which I've reviewed. I think I even did a video review on this one. And this is in Vesuvius Candy, which is kind of a soft, creamy, mid-toned pink. We can mix it with the Jouer lip gloss in classic shade Peony and put that on top for just like a cool toned pink lip. Classic. So we're going to try all 3. In the next clip you're going to see which one we chose. We decided after trying 3 different lip colors that we like the Topshop Be My Baby lip color best. And it's actually, we were calling it kind of a red, but I feel like on Jessica's lips and in conjunction with the rest of the makeup, it looks like a neutral of sorts. It's got enough pigmentation to go with the red elements in her outfit, but not so red as to compete with the beautiful burnished golden eyes. We're going with it, we're calling it a kind of apricot reddish neutral, and I think it's the spot on right color for her. You can see it on her lips as well as her complete look, her final look. Alright, so for Jessica's hair we're going to do something very simple, but it will take a little bit of effort. So we've decided on a top knot. We're only going to use the first half of her hair, so I guess that's a quarter of hair. I'm going to texturize her hair. She has very silky, very pretty hair with lovely highlights, but we're going to texturize it a little bit to give it some hold. I am not a huge fan of a lot of product. I rarely use product in my own hair. But I do use this when I need to have a hairstyle stay. This is the Caviar Anti-Aging Perfect Texture Finishing Spray, and it is free of all offensive ingredients. It's by Alterna, which always makes great things that I love, and it will give her some volume and some texture to keep this hairstyle in place. So I'm just going to spray lightly from far away and just work it through her hair, giving it some texture and hold. We're not going to heat treat anything today because her hair is clean and it's got beautiful bounce and life. We just want to give her some additional hold, which will make the braided top knot that much more in place for the night. We just gave her hair a ton of volume, basically double the volume in her hair with a liberal amount of the Caviar spray. It smells amazing. Doesn't it smell good? It smells good. And now what I'm going to do, I have already brushed her hair once. I'm going to just finger brush it right now, and I'm going to section off the area. Now I like kind of an implied middle part if we can help it. It adds to some symmetry, but it's just going to be a rough one. And then I'm going to section off her hair like so. And now we have a nice bundle of hair to work with. And we're going to move this into a fishtail. So the fishtail will ultimately then be wrapped together to create a bun on top. And we're going to opt for a little bit of tension here up on the hair so we can get this fishtail slash bun up on the crown a little more where it will be seen and it's going to photograph really well. So I'm going to work my way through that. We'll be back in a moment. And we are finally finished with Jessica's complete look. So what I did for her hair, if she bends down, I did a loose fishtail, coiled it around itself, and then positioned it, you can bend back, at the crown of her head. We experimented with having it either up here a little farther or a little further back, and we finally found the perfect position for it. This will give her a consistent hairstyle for the entire evening. And then I went back through the hair that's down and volumized it again with the Caviar Perfect Texture Spray. What's good is that she won't have to worry about brushing her hair for the whole night because it's just got a tousled look and the ends are nice and silky, so she still has a lot of movement. And this is the final look. And I'm just going to do a zoom in on her so you can see. Close your eyes. So pretty and open. And this is Jessica's prom look.